I had been wandering the streets for hours and still couldn't pull myself together. I decided to write this down because I need to share it with someone. For the past couple of years since my mother's death, I've been feeling terrible. It's not that I was deeply attached to her, but she was the only close person I had after my father disappeared. I constantly have headaches, everything blurs, and I lose track of time, confusing dreams with reality. Over the last few days, I've been feeling very nauseous. And today, a few hours ago, I felt so bad that I had to duck into a small alcove between buildings to avoid vomiting right in the middle of the street. There was a nasty ringing in my ears, and my vision went dark. That's where I lost consciousness. When I came to, I saw a stout woman in front of me. Had she been there before? I don't know. She was lying on her side with an unnatural expression on her face, her eyes closed. I carefully sat up, holding my head. Then I checked her pulse. She was probably not alive. Turning her onto her back, I recognized her as the saleswoman from the local store. Surveying the area, I found a razor blade nearby, the kind usually used for shaving. I have plenty of those at home. Why, I don't know, but I took the blade in my hands. It seemed to be the murder weapon. A strange thought crept into my mind. How can such a tiny little rectangle with the hole in the middle take someone's life? There was blood everywhere, and on the blade too. And suddenly I got scared, realizing what I had gotten myself into. Anyway, I got out of there, hoping no one had seen me. I took the bloody blade with me because, foolishly, when I picked it up, my fingerprints were left on it. When all this happened, it was getting dark outside. And now it's probably deep into the night. I sat down on a bench in the park, felt a notebook and a pencil in my coat pocket. I often carry them with me because I like to sketch the surroundings sometimes, and now I'm writing this. Well, I feel a bit better, and the late autumn is making itself known. I think I'll head home. Still, who could this woman have crossed? I go to the store under my house every week and see her. She always gives me exact change and is polite, but I still wouldn't say I liked her, as I've never been able to stand drunk people like my mother. But still, it's a pity for a person no matter who they are. Such is our human nature. In life, we might hate someone 1,000 times, but after death, we remember them almost as an angel. Enough of these musings. Give me free rein, and I'll fill all the paper in the world with my thoughts, if only there's enough ink. The 27th of November. More than a month has passed since my first entry, and I had even forgotten about this notebook. I found it this morning when I was looking for a fallen brush. It had rolled under the table, and I didn't find it right away, but I did come across my notes and the bloody blade hidden between the pages. I had forgotten that in a fit of paranoia, I had hidden them there, but that's not why I'm writing. During the day, I left the house to go to the same store for groceries. For the past week, all I've been doing is drawing, and I completely forgot that I needed to eat. So I bought some groceries and decided to stop by for new art supplies on the way. After bringing the groceries home, I headed to the place where I usually buy all my supplies. It was fresh outside after the recent rain, and I decided to take the long way through the park where I had been a month ago. There were almost no people around, and the air was filled with silence and dampness. Suddenly, I felt unwell. It wasn't very sudden. These bouts of nausea have been happening to me more and more often. I sat down on the nearest bench and closed my eyes. When I fully came to my senses, I saw him. He was sitting next to me and wasn't moving at all. He was my old music teacher, with whom I had learned to play the piano as a child. His gaze was fixed on the thistle bushes across from us, and it seemed completely lifeless. I don't remember him being there when I sat down, although I think you can guess I wasn't paying much attention. The ringing in my ears started again, and a black veil appeared before my eyes. I began to suspect something and tried to touch the man, but I immediately pulled my hand back, seeing the bloody blade on the asphalt right by his foot. the same one as before. The thought instantly struck my head, and my thoughts started racing wildly. I hurried to get away from there as quickly as possible. There was no question of any supplies. Now, with the benefit of common sense, it seems I got smeared when I sat on the bench. My head hurts terribly. It feels like someone is squeezing it with red-hot tongs. I can't draw anymore, but if I stop, I won't have any money. I draw illustrations for books, and lately, I've been getting less and less because of my illness or weakness. I'm not scared at all. I'm not afraid of being killed on the street because I'm not afraid of dying. I'm used to the constant danger at home, where my mother could hit me on the head with something at any moment for not washing the dishes well enough or putting something in the wrong place, according to her. And I'm not afraid for these people I found dead. They weren't dear to me. I secretly hated the saleswoman from the grocery store. She annoyed me with her slowness, infuriated me with her clumsiness, and drove me crazy with her indifference. She reminded me of my unhappy childhood with her constant hangover smell, but that doesn't mean she deserved to be killed. Although I would be lying if I said that in the first few unconscious seconds, I wasn't grateful to whoever did it. The music teacher didn't evoke any positive feelings in me, probably because I disliked music itself. My mother sent me there to, in her words, become closer to high society. However, music lessons only filled me with aversion. And this teacher, an old grumbler, constantly grumbled and complained to my mother that I didn't want to do anything. But I've digressed. My head is splitting again. I think I'll go to sleep. The 11th of December. I'm not even surprised anymore. This time, less than a month has passed. This morning, I decided to go out for a walk, breathe some fresh air, and find inspiration. But my dreams were not meant to come true, for I found my downstairs neighbor dead on the stairwell. I didn't immediately understand what had happened because I lost consciousness again. Maybe my brain senses the smell of death beforehand and tries to warn me this way. In any case, I came to on the floor, regained my senses, and moved on. Rubbing my bruised forehead, I stopped in the middle of the hallway. The pain from the blow caught me off guard. I felt as if I had just woken up from a long sleep or come out of a deep faint. In front of me lay my neighbor. We rarely talked, and I wouldn't call us close friends, but now he was dead, and all that didn't matter. When I first moved into this house, we got along quite well, but he sometimes disturbed my peace with his loud music, which I disliked intensely. So our brief dialogues turned into a simple hello. I looked around for the murder weapon, and I had no doubt it should be there. And I was right. The blade lay nearby. Well, there's no helping the poor man now. I called an ambulance and went about my business. There was no point in staying with someone whose life was slowly draining away, along with the streams of blood flowing down the stairs. Returning home, I drew another illustration, and was surprised to find that one of the characters had the facial features of the murdered neighbor. Could it be that I was so absorbed that I didn't even notice what I was drawing? But then I had a migraine again and had to set aside all my doubts. The visit to the doctor yielded no results. Drink mint tea, spend more time outdoors, and go to bed earlier. I already follow these recommendations, but it's not getting better. Maybe it's from my seclusion, so I need to get out more. But after such findings on the street, I don't have much desire to walk. So I called my school friend, with whom I used to get along quite well, and we arranged to meet. He worked from home, didn't socialize much with people, and overall, we were similar. That's why we became friends. So, after a long break in communication, we were both glad for the company. We agreed to meet in a week, go out for a drink, and then have a sleepover like in the good old days. We chose his apartment, so I'll have to leave my modest refuge. During this week, I'll have time to think about what's happening around me and whether to tell someone about it. I forgot to mention that I was overcome by paranoia again and threw away the SIM card I used to call the ambulance. In the evening, I'll have to go get a new one. After all, I'm a witness to 3 crimes, and I still have the first blade at home. Whoever it is, I still can't understand why they want me to see this. It seems like some psycho. I hope they're not following me. Although that's a foolish assumption, considering they're victims and the fact that I constantly stumble upon them. The 14th of December. During the day, I decided to shave. I cut myself. The sight of blood made me feel sick. Maybe I lose consciousness near corpses because I smell blood. My vision darkened again, and there was ringing in my ears. I sat on the edge of the bathtub, holding onto the sink. I opened my eyes. Blood from my cheek was dripping right onto the blade I held in my hand. I should have bought a razor long ago. The sight of the blade in the blood brought back memories of those 3 deaths. I threw what I was holding into the sink as if scalded. I rushed out of the bathroom and slammed the door behind me. Something clicked in my head, and now I'm standing at the easel, mentally dividing the canvas into 4 parts. I made a sketch with a pencil and then decided to leave it as is. On the canvas are 3 victims, but the 4th place remains empty. Does this mean there will be another murder? Or am I just imagining things? Why don't I even consider this as suicide? No, that's complete nonsense. Something inside me changes and breaks every day, and my well-being has become terrible. Maybe I shouldn't go to Pasha's? It's only been 3 days. Maybe I'll feel better by the time we meet. It's too early to think about it. And yet, maybe I should call the police? I'm scared. My head is spinning. I can't think straight. I drowned the old SIM card in a ditch near the park, and right after it, I sent the blade with which the saleswoman was killed. I need to call Pasha from the new number. I need to, but I don't want to yet. I'll go to sleep. The 17th of December. Today, I dreamed of Pasha. I decided to write down how we met, or rather, how we quarreled. In general, we are old acquaintances. We became friends back in school in the 5th grade. In the 4th grade, he transferred to our school, and in the 5th, we were seated at the same desk. I was often beaten by classmates, and once he stood up for me and got beaten too. I remember how he wiped the blood from his broken nose and helped me up. That's how we became close. We explored so many places together, went to abandoned buildings, wandered through swamps, and got into all sorts of places. We went through so much together that no one could even dream of. But our friendship almost ended because of a girl. Her name was Svetka. In the 7th grade, she transferred to our class from a parallel one. An unremarkable girl. Not super beautiful, but not ugly either. Average. Not smart, but not completely stupid. She found only one friend in our class, and even that wasn't a close one, unlike my Pasha. But no one spoke badly of her, not because there was nothing to say. If you want to slander someone, you can always make something up, but because everyone was indifferent to her. So one day she sat with me when her friend was sick with either the flu or something else. We became friends with Svetka, and soon we were very close, though not romantically. However, Pasha, upset that I was spending so little time with him, decided to take this friend away from me, and Svetka fell for it. She started hanging out with him and forgot about me. At first, I thought I would never forgive him, but then I realized that if it weren't for his actions, I wouldn't have noticed how Svetka might have betrayed me in the future. So we forgot about her and continued our friendship. Although, at that moment, something changed in me. I stopped believing in friendship, but even with him, I tried not to get too attached. Once betrayed, could be betrayed again. And tomorrow, I have to go to Pasha's place. As I remembered all this, I don't want to go anymore. Before, these memories were at the back of my mind, but now they've come to the forefront. And I think, maybe I shouldn't go. I dreamed that Pasha was lying in his bed, and on the nightstand was that blade. I woke up in a cold sweat. It's scary. The 18th of December. I'm writing from Pasha's apartment. I'm sitting on the floor. It's not in vain that I took the notebook with me. I need to write in order, but I can't. My head is heavy, and it hurts to move my eyes. I don't remember well what happened, probably because of the hangover. I remember we came in, drank, walked around, sang songs. Then we went to his place. We sat in the kitchen for a while and then went to our separate rooms. I lay down in the living room and Pasha went to his room. I woke up feeling nauseous. I went to the kitchen and on the floor in the hallway was a blade. I got scared that my dream was prophetic. I went into the room, but Pasha wasn't there. I went to the kitchen to drink some water, and in his kitchen there's a chair, and he's sitting in that chair, his head tilted to the side. Pasha is dead. I checked. And I know who did it, I realized. I remembered everything. Fragments appeared in my memory, I put them together, and a thought pierced my head. It was me. All this time, it was me. I was feeling bad, not because of the smell of blood, as I thought, but because HE was taking over me. Or rather, not he, because he is me. I'll try to explain. It seems I was killing these people in fits of rage and then forgetting, which is why I felt so broken. I think I read something about this. It's not schizophrenia, it was me. I am one, but I just forgot. It's called something. And suddenly, for a second, I remembered how I killed them, and then I forgot again. And these blades are not a coincidence. Why didn't I ask myself before why the killer doesn't take the murder weapon? Maybe because he comes to his senses and loses consciousness from a severe headache? And his hands are bloody not because he picked up the blade, but because he killed with it. I need to turn myself in to the police. Or maybe I don't want to end up in a mental hospital or prison. I'll leave Pavlik here, gather my savings, canvases, and brushes, and go somewhere to a remote village. They won't find me there, and I can live quietly. And most importantly, no blades. I'll hide them from myself. I won't shave, who cares? The main thing is not to kill anyone else. With this drawing of 3 victims and the remaining empty space, I myself set myself up to kill Pasha. I suggested that another victim was needed, and I killed him. And why did I remember those old events? Why did I write them down? Why did I go to him? He could have avoided this fate, stayed alive. It's about 4 in the morning now. I'll tear these pages out of the notebook and bury them in the park, and then I'll leave this inhospitable city forever, which has turned me into a monster. Son, 15 minutes have passed. Let's go home, a woman shouted from the other end of the park. Coming, the child replied. Bingo, let's go, he said to his dog. The golden retriever obediently came to the boy and handed him a piece of paper held in his teeth. What's this? The child wondered, taking the papers in his hands. The dog tilted its head, looking faithfully into the little master's eyes, as if asking the same question. The child carefully examined the letters blurred by the dog's saliva and, shrugging, threw the paper into the nearest ditch where it landed wearily on top of a rusty blade. The mother's call was heard again. The boy quickened his pace, catching up with the retriever, and soon disappeared from sight.